welcome to another exciting episode. Sabi Agric. Today we are going to be talking about climate change and environment. Everybody's talking about climate change and very few people know what is actually changing about the climate in which we live in. And then when you say environment, people have just limited knowledge about the environment also. And so the basic effects of climate change are caused by human beings, and they're said to be anthropogenic, meaning that the effects of climate change are caused by man himself. It is not an act of God, it is not an act of nature, it's not an act of any other thing, but then the effects of climate change are the residual effects or accumulative effects from the activities of man. We are at a body of water to actually learn about climate change and see what effects it has. This is a body of water that used to be in fact, it used to bury the whole area. And now you can see the difference in the depression. You can see activities of felling of trees, burning of wood. You can actually see that the waterway is blocked. And so the body of water that used to be up to this area where I stand is now shrinking to where it is now. This place actually feeds a lot of farmers in this area with water. And so we are in May, and there's supposed to be a lot of farming activity. The farmers in this area the rains are not here already. And so the farmers rely on this body of water to irrigate their crops. These actions by farmers, just to fend for themselves, to get extra money, is not fair on the environment and is also good for their health. Take, for example, the cucumber farm very close to this place. He uses fertilizers, he uses herbicides, he uses all kinds of agrochemicals. And when the rains come, what happens? It leaches the runoff from his farm will find their way into this body of water. And someone somewhere might be depending on this same body of water for his or her domestic use. And then we ask why we have a lot of health challenges today. These wicked problems, these wicked actions have to come to an end. The more we are enlightened, the more we are sensitized about these problems, the more it will be easy for us to contain these problems. Climate change is not an action in itself, but is a result of various activities that accumulate into the changes we see.
Have you ever wondered the impact of moving soil or moving rock particles from one location to another location without a considerable plan to sustain the environment? When soils are moved, like what we have here, in trying to support grey infrastructure, the decay and the impact in the environment is an equivalent amount of gullies, destroyed landscapes, high level of erosion and gullies just like what we are seeing here, and then reduced sustainability of the environment. When the soils are moved and the trees covering the topography is removed, the soil is exposed to further biodegradation, and the impact is quite negative on the sustainability of the environment. We are looking for a way of increasing the sustainability of the environment, looking at the socioeconomic impact because of the population that are dependent on the natural abundant resources of this environment. We are looking at the impact on climate change, carbon sequestration support, and so many other benefits derived from a sustained environment. Biodiversity sustainability and preservation of some endangered species. within the same environment. When you excavate forests and damage landscapes, you've removed the amount of green cover we have in the form of trees and shrubs, which play a key role in carbon sequestration. These trees have their roots moving on this landscape, moving all over these landscapes, forming a serious binding agent for ensuring that these landscapes are sustained. But once the tree covers are removed and the root system network damaged, this is equivalent of what we have: large gullies and damaged landscape like this. We are looking at ways that government, policy stakeholders, communities, rural dwellers will join hands with us together to begin to develop plans and strategies that communities can become part of this ecosystem-based management. Don't damage your environment. Look for ways to replicate the planting of trees. Look for ways to preserve the nature you have within your environment. Don't do things that destroy the environment. Don't do things that destroy your landscape without an equivalent plan to ensure sustainability. With what we have here, the road network that was connecting this place has been already destroyed. And there is no future plan to restructure it. The communities that are dependent on some of the forest resources derived from this place are also deprived of the resources they derive from it. And then the further increase in erosion, as we have seen from the large gullies that emanated from this excavation, is also part of the challenges we are having. High rate of flooding, because when the trees were here, they form catchment areas which increase water infiltration, which further increase nutrient management within the environment. And when they were all removed, the landscape was exposed, and what we have is high rate of biodegradation and further environmental degradation. So what do we do? In order to reduce the risk of the communities living within this area, we have to look for a way to work with the community and plan on how to restore the damaged landscape through the planting of trees, through the planting of shrubs that have fibrous root system, through the planting of trees, fast-growing trees, and things like also bamboo can be recommended to further enhance the control of erosion within the environment. Ecosystem-based management is the use of nature and great infrastructure to sustain the environment. This is a fantastic example of combining great infrastructure and green infrastructure in sustainable water management and erosion control. This is a good example of ecosystem-based management. The use of green infrastructure gives longer sustainability of this project at a long run and give better support to the grey infrastructure at a long run. Grey infrastructure is estimated to have a good lifespan of about 10 to 15 years, and which will need continuous maintenance. But as the grey infrastructure gets stronger, the areas covered by the grasses and short trees will further bind the soils together. Combined with the green infrastructure gives a perfect combination for erosion. The combination of grey infrastructure and green infrastructure, as we have seen here, is a perfect example of ecosystem-based management. This is a perfect example of the use of grey infrastructure and green infrastructure in the control of erosion, and good watershed management, as compared to the previous place we went to, where humans are really contributing to the degradation of the environment without planning for sustainability and increasing, the vulnerability of the population who are living down the slope. Ecosystem-based management should be combined to increase sustainability and proper adaptation to environmental hazards.
The more we are enlightened, the more we are sensitized about these problems, the more it will be easy for us to contain these problems. Climate change is not an action in itself, but is a result of various activities that culminate into the changes we see. Until I come your way next time, I remain your host, Uke Praise. Remember, if you want Sabi, you go Sabi.